What's going on, good people? Thank you for joining in to another episode of Build Your Fork with Lentheus Chaney. And today I've got a special artist here. His name is Mr. Jahah Berry. We go way back. This brother has worked with golden era hip hop artists, legends like Big Daddy Kane, Arrested Development, Redman. Jason, if I'm missing something, let me know.
That's good, man. It's good. It's a good intro.
Good. That's a good intro?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Look, I know you're a dad, you're a husband, you are fiercely involved with your kids and their sports, and I love seeing that. And I know that every bit of time that you have goes towards those kids, and for you to take that time out and take some time to talk with me, I really appreciate that.
Oh, not a problem, man. Your family, there's been times when you've put me onto some things that I probably wouldn't have known about, and gave me some direction, perhaps when I was lost at times. So I appreciate it, man.
No, man, it's all love. I love your spirit. I love what you're all about. You know, we met back in 2012. Urban Lux magazine was coming up and going, and we were showcasing artists in the area, and we did this whole thing where we were giving you an opportunity to showcase your music, and some great things came of that. You know, had a great meeting with the Grammy committee here in Atlanta, and I think things just kind of took off from there. Our friendship took off, and I've been watching you grow, and I love everything you're doing. So let's catch up. What's been happening since 2012? What you been up to?
Oh man, well, I continue to make music, and as you know, as I'm sure you know, but the rest of the world may not know, but I released a few albums. The most recent in 2017. It's been about 4 years now, and it was called "Do What You Love," and I was able to accomplish a few things with that. First truly independent release where I backed everything, so that was an experience, just becoming my own boss, if you will. And then since that kind of died down, I've been doing a lot of assistant work, if you will, with my friend and colleague Tony Reams, who's a director, and we've been directing, like you said in the intro there, golden era artists like Big Daddy Kane, Arrested Development. We're shooting a pilot for a series called The Golden Era. We've got Moni Love as the host, and I guess you can say I've been trying to diversify, and then most importantly, I've been a father, just raising my kids. I have two little boys. One is 14, and he's pretty damn good at basketball. So we travel all around the Southeast. We hooping as much as possible, and it's been a journey, man. It's just been a journey, and with this whole COVID and pandemic situation, is trying to find different avenues to creatively get back into things and be successful. It's been a challenge, but it's a good challenge.
Yeah, I've been seeing you're getting back out there, getting some music done again. You're still in corporate America as well, aren't you? Yeah,
so I am an IT manager. I work for a company called Encompass Digital. So when you turn on the TV and like today, Sunday football, NFL, a lot of what you see on the television is what I'm a part of on the back end, just technically speaking. So that's where I'm at Monday through Wednesday. And then I'm back here Thursday through Friday through Sunday through, doing my thing here. So I've always been one of those guys that I think I have my hand in a lot of pots. I'm just trying to figure things out, like I think a lot of people are. And I'm a creative, and so boredom is not something I really like to be. I like to keep. But
you've traveled the world as an artist.
Yes.
Internationally, you've sang some of everywhere. I'm sure you've been to Japan and Tokyo and other kind of places.
Yeah.
So how was that, raising a family and working and being an artist? What kind of pressures did that put on you?
It's difficult because I don't have when I'm traveling abroad, if you will, the accommodations are not that of what a Jay-Z or a Beyonce would get, right? So I'm in hotels, but you've been to hotels, I'm sure, where you're like, damn, this is not the one. But when the promoters are paying for these things, and I am getting paid, so I can't complain. But that part of the tour is difficult because I'm used to sleeping and showering in my own environment. And when you're on the road for that long, like when things are really good, I would be gone for like a month.
Wow.
And one of the biggest tours I ever did was Africa, South Africa, and it was a tough tour because we got on 19 planes, and some accommodations were good, some weren't, but we're in third world countries, and sometimes these things you had to tough it out.
So would you say, when you look at IT versus music, uh, which is it that really gets your heart going?
Oh, it's definitely the music. I had the type of father. He was in the military, and then he was an IBMer, and he's like, you're gonna go to college and you're gonna get a degree, right? So I went to college and I got a degree, and I started working corporate right out of college, but I was still like had a foot in the music business, and then I got an opportunity. I did some things with Stankonia in Atlantic, and it just afforded me the opportunity to kind of pursue music full time. And then I had an opportunity to tour, and that was the first time I would say I got the okay from my pops. I always seek his counsel, if you will, and he gave me the thumbs up, like I think you should pursue your dreams, and that's all I needed to hear because I was like, okay, finally he approves, and I took off, man, and I kind of didn't look back for like 3 or 4 years. Did a lot of things. A lot of people don't know Henny the Business. He's a producer. He's done some big records. That's my cousin, so I was writing songs for other artists and playing instruments on his productions and getting along in that sense too. So I was in the back. People didn't see me, but I was still, making a few moves that way as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Something you said, really resonated with me when you talked about your pops and what his expectation of
yeah,
you were. I think many of us deal with the expectations of our parents. I come from that era, and I think you do as well, where your parents say you're going to get you a good job and you're
right.
going to retire from that
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
you know, I spent 20 something years, with the telecom only to be laid off later on. And I think and many people know nowadays that nothing's guaranteed,
nothing.
but there's something special when your parent or your guardian, whoever it is that you look up to, has told you that, you need to pursue this thing. But I see you still haven't let corporate go, and I know that has a lot to do with the fact that you've got a family to raise. So,
Yeah, so when I had my first son, um, there was a rough patch there where the tours weren't coming, and some of the opportunities that I had before just weren't there. And I always want to be active, right? And I got a degree, and I'm like, yo, let me just go out here and not be that guy or that artist that's like leeching or waiting for someone to pay my way. I said I could do this and still make the music and still do what I love to do. It's just I got to take another avenue. So I just did the responsible thing, if I'm being honest, and make sure I could put food in my baby's mouth, and make sure that I felt. I feel like as a man, as me being a man, I'll just speak for myself. I always want to be able to provide. So I did that. And that's just went and worked for someone. It's not always easy because I'm flying around the world, and then the next thing you know, I'm in the office 5 days a week.
right, right, right. Yeah, that's a big change. What do you do one day when one of those kids come and say, "Dad, I want to be in the music business"? What are you going to tell them?
It's funny you say that because the oldest one, he wants to make beats now, and he knows I'm a producer, and he knows that I've been doing this really most of my life, and so he came to me about 3 months ago, and he was like, "Dad, will you help me start making beats?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because I know this business and I know how it can tear your heart apart. Uh, but I kind of I've kind of done what my father would do to me. I'm like, yeah, I can help you make beats. We'll get to it. And my whole motive is to see if he keeps coming back. And if he keeps coming back and inquiring and asking the same question, then I know he's interested. Uh, and the only way I'm going to put that time and effort in is if I know he's truly interested and it's, he really wants to do it. When it comes to basketball, I've always known he's interested since he was about 5. And that's why I support him so heavily. It's just because I know he's going to get up at 5 in the morning to go train like he's going to tomorrow morning. And I got to take him, but I'll support him as long as he's willing to do it. So with the music thing, we'll see.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
he's got the right person that's going to
Yeah.
show him the ropes. He's got it in his blood. He's got it in his family.
Yeah, we'll
like
see.
you said, you got Henny the Biz. You've got you.
Yeah. My dad's a singer too, so I think I get it from him. Really, he's a jazz head. He loves jazz, more traditional than contemporary, or he's into like Monk and Thelonious Monk and people like that. But he's a jazz head and he can sing.
Tell me, what do you tell an aspiring artist today who's trying to juggle life, trying to pay bills, raise kids, and also pursuing their dream of music? What would you tell that person?
Yeah, I would tell them, number one, be patient. I hate the term. I don't hate the term, but I kind of shy away from what's that they say all the time, Lentheus? Trust the process, right? Because it's so cliche to me. There's a lot of truth in it, but patience. Patience is what it really takes in this business, and then just constant work ethic. You have to find the time. You can't think that you're going to make marks by just making spending an hour a week. This is the type of thing where you have to really work at it, and then you have to ask yourself, is it something I really want? Because there's going to be more cons than pros. And let's just put it this way, as you know, this business isn't for the weary-hearted. I've been way high up here thinking I'm going to finally do something that the world can see, and then I either fall fast or I gradually fall, and then you got to work yourself back up.
Yeah,
and it's not easy. It's not easy, and you have to be strong. So you think about people like Britney Spears or Dave Chappelle. These people aren't crazy. It's just the business is hell. It takes you through a lot. The journey is not easy.
I want to read something to you. It's going to maybe bring some memories back to you, but this is from the article in Urban Lux magazine from 2012. And it says here, former rapper Jason Jahah Berry has taken on a new direction in R&B. The Atlanta native and world traveler is bringing the love back with his current single, Bare My Heart. That was a good song. I love that song.
Thank you.
The response to the song was so overwhelming, he decided to shoot a video, Jahah said.
Mm-hmm.
The video has gotten lots of attention on YouTube, along with the single being in rotation overseas and on indie radio. His sound can be compared to Musiq Soulchild, and his diverse musical influences range from D'Angelo, Fantasia, Jill Scott, Bob Marley, and Joe Sample, to music from the Midtown era. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You have a wide range, man.
Yeah.
And your quote here was, "There's not enough balance in the industry today." Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I still feel that way. I don't see why. And maybe it's just the way I was brought up, but when I was growing up, for every NWA, there was a Tribe Called Quest. So you could turn on the radio, or you could go to a party, and NWA would play, or Ice Cube, but then you would hear De La Soul, and you would hear Tribe. You would hear Cyndi Lauper, you would hear Anita Baker. And I just feel like everything today, and I don't knock it, if you will, I just choose not to take the route. But I feel like everything today is just like, I'm gonna kill you. uh, and I don't understand why we're always killing our own people, because when they talk about killing people on records, they're not talking about killing anybody but their own brother down the street. And then, or it's, very sexual. And don't get me wrong, I love the ladies or whatever. But I think women are out here right now, whether they know it or not know it, they want to hear a man sing a love song to them, or just people in general. Whatever you choose to be, I think we need some love injected in the music,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that, because first of all, everything is so saturated and people are following. They're not. They're just playing it safe. If it's cool to make songs that are degrading, that's what they're gonna do, because that's what they feel everybody's into. It's a formula, and I guess you can. I'm just stepping outside the box every single time I make a song or a record.
The other part of your quote says that you explain that you're making music for listeners who miss classic R&B and soul.
Yeah.
And I think your song that you were coming out with, your recording that you were going to be coming out with back then next was Nostalgic Black.
Yeah.
You're still in that mode of classic R&B, right?
Yeah. So I've completed an album. I've completed two. One is called Like We Used to Do, and it's when I was growing up, we used to have house parties. I don't even know if kids still have house parties anymore. It's a new day and time, but we used to have house parties, and the album is kind of around that concept of. Yeah, I don't know if when you were growing up, if you heard the term rent parties.
Yes.
Yeah, so the album was kind of around that. Like We Used to Do, it's basically like we're gonna party like we used to do. We're gonna go down in the basement, turn these lights on. One of the homies is gonna DJ, and we gonna, and we might play some slow songs in the middle of, 3 hours in, we might slow it down, and then we might bring it back up, and then I have another one called Beautiful Moments. This is basically just about, my family and the beautiful moments that, when this pandemic hit, it made me sit back and just reflect on how, having this family of mine is it's just been my saving grace, because I don't know what I would have done if I would have been having to sit home alone and didn't have, two little boys running around and a wife making my itinerary every goddamn day. So, beautiful moments, man. It's a family inspired by my family, and that's what I would probably release first in the first quarter of 2022.
You put out a deep record also after George Floyd killing.
Yeah, state of emergency.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Oh man, well, the killings of our black boys and black men and black people have been going on for so long, and even before that particular situation, it had been heavy on my mind. And I know it's a tough topic to digest. I have a lot of Caucasian friends that I grew up with, that I'm still friends with, that I still work with and create with. And I just, I felt like it was something that I needed to expose, like just creatively. I don't see how you can make a record right now, or even back then, about killing your brother when your brother just got killed by someone kneeling on his head or neck. So it was just in my heart to do, and I started writing that song way before, but I finished it once the George Floyd situation took. It was like the catalyst for me to finish it. I was scared of that record, if I'm being honest, because I knew the things that I was saying in it. If you listen to the rap verse in it, I say some pretty serious things in there. The biggest terrorist of all time doesn't look like you and me. And I have white friends, and I consider them to be like brothers, especially two of them that we grew up together. And so for me to say something like that, that was tough, but I feel like it's the truth.
You work hard all year long, so why not get more for your money at Experamax Midtown Atlanta? Looking for a MacBook Pro, iMac, or iPad? Don't pay full retail prices at the Apple Store when you can get the same quality products without the premium price. Experamax in Midtown Atlanta is your Apple headquarters, with everything from Apple desktops to laptops, watches, accessories, and more. Get the peace of mind you deserve and buy with confidence, knowing that all of Experamax certified pre-owned products are put through rigorous testing to make sure they deliver the reliability and dependability you demand. Experamax Midtown Atlanta makes it easy and affordable. Plus, you can trade in your old devices and get an offer right on the spot. So shop smarter and save money only at Experamax Midtown Atlanta.
I want to take you to 2017 for a moment.
Okay.
Little do you know, that was a really difficult time for me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I told you I worked 20 plus years with the same company. Like
Right.
even way back when we first met in 2012, I was still working corporate America.
Okay.
And here you come along after I get laid off with this album, Do What You Love.
Yeah.
And it spoke life. It spoke volumes into this podcast that we're having right here today. You
I
know,
didn't know that.
everything changed because you again have that security that you think you're going to have a job and you're going to retire from that job. That's what I really thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. You know, I had the time of 24 plus years, but I didn't have the age. I was still too young. And so they put the two together and you come up with 72 and a half before they say, yeah, we're going to give you everything and you're going to have benefits for life and all of that. And so
Right.
since that didn't happen, the age didn't add up and the time didn't add up to 72 and a half. They's like, yo, here's 6 months and hit the road. And I'm like, you know what? I never want to be at the mercy of another company again.
Yeah.
I want to do what I love and love what I do. So I bought that album and I played it and I was like, yo, this thing is deep. It's so dope. I think you were actually ahead of your time. And we need to bring those songs back. So here are the three that I really loved.
Okay.
Do What You Love, No Validation, and
Okay.
For the Love. Those
For
are
the
my
Love.
three favorite. And when I go on my iTunes account, those are the three. I must play them all the time because those are three that have stars next to them.
Yeah.
So Do What You Love. Tell me the catalyst for that album, but even for this because that's the namesake of the album, Do What You Love.
Yeah.
That single right there. Tell me about that. What brought you to that?
Man, I think you and I were kind of in the same place. I was working, for a company, and I wasn't passionate about it, and I was trying to figure out a way to get back to where I'd been, being able to sustain just with the music, and I would have these conversations with people like yourself, and we would be talking about, doing the things we love to do. And I said, why am I writing songs about just being in love or, the act of love? I said, let me see if I can go, not necessarily deep, but write about other things that I'm actually having conversations about. So that's what Do What You Love spawns from. It's just having those conversations and talking about, like there's so many of us will die saying I woulda, shoulda, coulda. And I think you and I, and especially myself at that time, I'm like, I'm not going to die that way. I may have to stay here and do this job for a little bit, but I'm going to continue to pursue these dreams and find a way to do what I love, even if it's only for an hour each day, or whatever. I'm going to make time for this, no matter what I have going on around me. And believe me, I have a lot going on, but at the same time, I find a way, and that sometimes you just got to sacrifice. You got to stay up later than you want to stay up. You got to get up early again, stay up later than you want to stay up. But if it means enough to you, you'll do that.
What would you say your formula is for doing what you love and loving what you do? How do you get to that point?
Well, I think for me, it's the act of. So I'm a person where I have to be creating. It doesn't necessarily always have to be music. So I draw, I paint a little bit. I want to get better at painting. Um, I do creative things. As you can see, I'm trying to, or as we spoke of before, I'm trying to decorate the house. I'm hands on with it, right? I'm not, yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm like, nah, let me incorporate my little creative piece in this. Let me pick out some furniture. So it's always finding a space to be creative in. And I'm a songwriter at heart, so I'm really a producer first, a songwriter second, and then I consider myself like a vocalist third. But I've always been producing since I was a little kid. I just didn't know what it was.
Mm,
Uh, so just being
mm.
creative. That's always, if I'm creative, I'm doing what I love to do. If I'm creating something.
So I've got a little tip for that. This is something that I found how I figured out what it was that I was supposed to do. You mentioned, and I when I have conversations with people and who are in that lane, they
Yeah.
always reference something back to childhood. So when I was trying to figure out what it is, what my next move was, I went back and I thought about what made me happiest as a child. Just like you said, as a kid, you were always producing something, and
Yeah.
that's your happy spot. And
Yeah.
so when people come to me and ask me, how do I figure out what it is I'm supposed to do? I say, go back to, the days of a kid
Yeah.
when they used to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yep.
Kids come up with the most ridiculous things, the most outlandish things, but little do you know, those outlandish things can actually become reality.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you related it back to childhood and producing and music, and it got you in your lane.
I'm a kid at heart, man. I truly believe I still play basketball with my kids, like up and down the court. You know, um, uh, I've been pursuing music in the career of, if you will, since I was, a little boy in my teens. And I'm a grown man, and a lot of people would have given up by now just because I think people give up on themselves prematurely. I
Mm.
think people figure if it doesn't make me a lot of money or I can't sustain or if it's not six figures, I'm not gonna keep doing it. And for me, those people are even more miserable than maybe you and I ever were because they're really just getting up every day, going to a place where they don't like it. But and then they come home and they get in front of the idiot box and they just flip through channels and get up and do the next thing, do the same thing the next day. Whereas maybe myself, each day there's a itinerary, but it's loose. I'm able to veer off and do other things, and that's I don't know what I would do if I just had to wake up every day and just punch a clock. You know?
I think what happens why people get cut and stuck in that rut sometimes is because of one, debt.
Yeah,
You
true.
know, we got to keep on in the rat race because we've got all these things we've purchased.
Yeah,
And we got to keep working this job, although it's paying us well, but all the money is going out the door to keep up this lifestyle. And so we continue to do the same thing over and over and over again just to maintain that. Number two, I think, is expectations of others. Would other people, family,
yeah,
friends, whoever, have an expectation of us to perform or do something or be something that we're really not happy being? And we haven't found that boundary of when to push back and say, no,
yeah,
this is not what I want. I want this. I rather give all of this up so that I can be happy. And I think, people have success and happiness mixed up. Success is happiness.
yeah.
Success is not necessarily money or things. Being happy, in my opinion, is what success is.
I couldn't agree more. I also think to add to what you said, I think one of the biggest problems that we all have, and myself included, is fear, and that fear holds us back from a lot of things. The fear of maybe it won't be received well, or nobody will receive it at all. You release something. In my case, and maybe people just don't gravitate towards it. If I'm being honest with you, when I Do What You Love was finished for about a year before I released it. And finally, a buddy of mine, he pushed me to release it. Like, he's like, dude, there's nothing else you can do to it right now. Like, let it go. Let the people hear it and let them be the judge. And I did that. And I'm thankful that I had someone like that to tell me, just let it go. And when I let it go, there were a few milestones that I'd never achieved that I was able to with that piece of work. And, did it make me a superstar or anything like that? No, but to date, that's my favorite album that I've created. Let's put it that way. I'm happy with it.
It's mine too.
Yeah. And
tell me about No Validation. What was the catalyst behind that song?
That's really how I feel. But at the same time, I do want my brother like Lentheus to receive it, right? I'm not necessarily creating this music to say, hey, man, do you like this? But at the end of the day, when you finally hear it, I would be lying if I said I didn't. I wouldn't. I don't care that. I want you to be like, hey, that's a nice record, or I heard the record. It's got some good stuff on there. But at the same time, I'm not sitting in my studio or anyone else's studio saying, hey, man, I gotta make another hit. I just make what I feel, and I'm not looking for you to validate it and say you should choose that one. All the records that you hear, I've chose them. It's what I want to say, and that's the great thing about being independent or autonomous at the point is just I can put out my own message, and I have to have a third party. However, like I said, it's good to get opinions from someone like yourself because you hear things and see things differently. But I'm not necessarily looking for you to validate me as a human being or as an artist. I'm like, I don't need your validation. I'm going to do this whether you like it or not. But I hope you like it. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, it does. It does. I think some of the lyrics say, I'm not looking for your validation. What else does it tell you? What else does the lyrics say?
It's been a long time since I heard it. I'll never be something like them carbon copies, something like that. I don't listen to myself. So
I know.
I haven't listened to No Validation or anything on that album in probably about 3 years. Wow. Every now and then, ironically, I'll hear it. It's funny thing is that I'll be driving down the street, and there are times where I hear myself coming out of somebody's car that I don't even know, and that's pretty cool. Just because you never know who you're reaching, you never know who's bought it. Some people DM me and they let me know, but when you're driving down the street, imagine you driving down the street, Lentheus, and then you go into a studio somewhere and you see somebody watching your podcast.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. You know what I mean? And they don't even realize you just walked by or that they're talking to you. I've been in the bathroom using the restroom and someone has come in and been like, hey, are you Jahah? And I'm like, yeah, I'm using the bathroom.
Can I get a little privacy, sir?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk to you while I'm urinating.
I think that song, there's a part in there I remember says, I don't fit in or I won't fit in.
Yeah, I don't fit in.
I don't fit in. And that's okay.
Yeah. And I don't think I necessarily always do. I think there's good parts of me that fit in. But I think someone like yourself might say the same thing. You fit in, but you don't really fit in.
Right.
I see the way you move too. So the things that we sometimes society, we're not traditional, or in a lot of ways, I don't feel like we're conditioned. We're able to think outside of the box.
Right.
We're not always in the box. We don't always play well with the other kids because maybe we see things differently.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I hear you've got new music coming up.
Yeah.
A new video, French Kiss.
So yeah, that's actually Fife's video from A Tribe Called Quest. God rest the dead. Fife from A Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip, Shaheed, Muhammad. He passed away. It's been about 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
And I was able to meet and work with Fife before he passed. And then I worked with a guy named Tony Reams. He's the director. He and I came up together. That's one of my friends, one of the white guys I've been speaking of. We're really close. And his directing is really starting to take off. And there's a gentleman here in Atlanta that people may know of called DJ Roster Root. That was Fife's manager. And DJ Roster Root sought out Tony and myself years ago to do a video for Fife, and that was the Nutshell, the original version. And then we flew up to New York and we did the remix with Fife, Busta Rhymes, and Redman. And then Fife passed away about a month later. And long story short, there's an album coming out, Fife, his last album, and the second single from that album is French Kiss, and it has Illa J on it, which is Jay Dilla's young brother, and it has Redman on it. And I can't take any credit for it, but you know, it's a video that I was a part of, that I creatively was able to add pieces to, and you know, really it's one of those things to pay tribute to a legend. I'm a big Tribe Called Quest fan. That is my favorite hip hop group, and just to be a part of something like that, and know that I was in the same room with some of the people that inspired me to do what I do it's excellent.
Yeah, that's a full circle moment, man.
Absolutely.
It's all about intention, and
Yep.
You put it out there, and the universe answers the call.
Absolutely.
So Beautiful Moments is actually the next album for you, or is that just a single?
No, Beautiful Moments is there is a song called Beautiful Moments on the album, but it is the title track.
Gotcha.
And that's about my lady, and just everything that we've been through. It's been a up and down journey, more positive than negative, but through it all, she's had my back, and she's allowed me to be myself and to travel the world and see things, and just a really supportive person. So I figured I'd write a song and dedicate it to her. And I closed the album with this particular song. And it's one of my favorite songs that I've written, just because of when you hear it, you'll know why. It's meaningful. It's not everything I say in there is just honest and true. It has a lot of meaning to it. It's a beautiful song.
And when can we expect to hear that?
First quarter, man. I'm gonna start releasing singles here soon. Nowadays you can't just release something and expect people to flock to it. So we're finishing up some mixes, and then I'll intend to release some singles. And I haven't picked the single, the first one I'm gonna release yet, but I think it might be this song called "Show Me Back to Love" or "Show You Back to Love," which it's like a traditional. It has a 90s feel to it. Or there's another one called "With All My Heart," and that it kind of has like an Anita Baker feel. Very, 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 very special song. So
now I will tell you this: I don't want you holding on to this thing for a year before you release it. All right. So everybody, you heard it here first. He said first quarter. Yeah. So
and you're the first person I've told this. So I haven't told. So I'm starting to speak things into existence, because once I going back to fear, it's time to release it. It's time to just let it go. It's almost like Do What You Love Part 2. I'm holding on to things. I just got to let it go.
All right. January, February, or March, somewhere in between there.
I'm thinking the 18th to 20th. My mother's birthday is on the 20th. My son's birthday is 20th of February. My son's birthday is on the 18th. So
all right, everybody. We gonna hold him to this.
Yeah, what I got? I got October, November, December, January. I got 4 months. That's a good amount of time to try to generate some sort of buzz, right?
You know how to do it. Nobody knows how to do it better than you, and I am 100% behind you, and anything I can do to help push that along.
Oh, thank you. I'll reach out to you in a heartbeat. Hey, man, give me some thoughts, some ideas, some direction.
I'm there with you.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell our audience before we close out today?
I just want to tell the audience, I want to tell everyone, black, white, yellow, brown, whatever your ethnicity is, spread love. Like, forget all the BS. Forget all the distractions. I know it sounds cliche, but love is the answer, man. Like, I feel like we're already divided enough, and where has it gotten us? Where has it gotten us? It doesn't matter who you are, what you want. At the end of the day, if we could just learn to love each other a little bit more, I think this will be a better place. And then just protect yourself with everything that's going on. Make rational decisions. Don't think you're bulletproof. Don't think it can't happen to you, type of thing. That's it.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for taking the time and speaking with me today. And I got your back, man.
Thank you, man. It's always a pleasure. This is a good guy. He's a genuine person. So you all, I know the thing to do is to follow and like. Make sure you do all those things. Follow, like, support, tip, whatever you can do. This is a good guy, Mr. Lentheus.
I appreciate you, man.
Family, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, peace.